over the last 18 months, he's had very little football. And a player of his age, and he was developing nicely at the time under Mickey Mellon. He originally signed on loan before making the deal permanent. He has stagnated. Now, there's obviously clearly issues with the manager. If there isn't, then why on God's earth he's not playing? Only Nigel Adkins will be able to tell us. And if the rumoured destination is down to the National League and a promotion push with Oldham, 100% he should tear it up in that level. And that would be great for him personally. I just think that we are shooting ourselves in the foot. We're not exactly overflowing with creativity, and we certainly aren't scoring goals. We are the lowest scorers in League Two. I don't like to go on and on and on about expected goals, but our XG is pitiful. And that was certainly the case against Carlisle on Saturday. Carlisle's was higher than ours. I think Tom Boyce put a tweet out post-match saying it doesn't really change anything. We're still not creating enough chances. So, but no, in terms of if you're somebody close to Hawks, a friend or an advisor, an agent, you're 100% you're telling him to move on and take a move, because he's not even making the bench now. So it's not like he's even getting an opportunity on a match day where the manager turns around, looks at what he has in the dugout and says, right, come on, I want you to show me the last 20 minutes what you can do. He's sitting in the stands or he's at home. I don't know. It's a strange situation. But yeah, we do need to free up wages. And if he isn't going to play, then we might as well ship him out and free up that costing to get somebody else in and to see if we can improve the squad. So time will tell whether that happens, of course. But no, it's the whole thing's a very, very odd situation, to say the least.
We will see what happens over the course of the month. It might be nothing, as we've said. It might well be nothing. But I think we agree, Craig. If Tranmere come out of this transfer window with the same squad or with no further players available to them than they have now, that's dangerous territory, is it not?
Oh, very much so. Very much so, because don't let one result sort of cloud over what all the issues have been, and scoring goals, but most worryingly creating chances has been a problem all season long. And second half, as I mentioned earlier, against Carlisle, we were pretty shot shy. I think Christian Dennis had an opportunity in the second half. He's put wide of the post. But other than that, I don't recall the Carlisle goalkeeper having to do much at all. And fine margins, as I spoke about earlier, they equalised 1-1. Would you really fancy us to go and get a winner? I wouldn't have thought so. And yeah, at the moment, the gap is 5 points between us and the bottom two. It can very, very quickly shorten. And as in the same place, we can maybe stick 8 points as a gap if we go and beat Walsall on Saturday. But you're looking at the trend and the way things are, we need reinforcements. And you do worry for us if we don't manage to achieve that before the window closes. So, yeah, I definitely think we need something.
Let's hope some additions are incoming this month. And you know how this podcast works. Generally, what will happen is we will finish a new show at some point during January. And then about 5 minutes later, Tranmere will announce that they've signed 7 players from Liverpool and Man United and whoever else. And the squad is significantly better than it was. Anyway, let's look ahead to the weekend. Tranmere are facing Walsall. It's an interesting weekend because there's a few games off in League Two. Intriguingly for Tranmere, they are games around them. Accrington against Newport, postponed because of Accrington's involvement in the FA Cup. They, of course, have got a wonderful tie against Liverpool, and fair play to them. And Morecambe travel to Chelsea. So their game this weekend against Doncaster is off. Morecambe, a huge gap for them in the league schedule, because their game against Newport on Sunday was postponed as well. So they still actually have played one game more than Tranmere, but they are possibly going to find themselves cut adrift come the end of play on Saturday. Anyway, it's a 12:30 kickoff for Rovers at the Bescot Stadium, or whatever it may be called these days. They've got to stick with the formation that was successful against Carlisle, haven't they?
Yes, I think so. I think it did give us more defensive solidity. It would be unwise of Nigel, I think, to change a winning side. Listen, it's a tough game, no question about it. Walsall are I've got a clear gap at the top between them and second place now, even more so down to the fourth position, I believe. So it's tricky. I don't buy into this often. Belief that Nigel spins in his interviews that it's a free hit. No game should be a free hit in the same league when you're playing a side. We've got to go down there, keep things tight, make sure that we don't give away any cheap goals early doors, because we know that when Tranmere do go behind, we very, very rarely come back, and the stats back that up as well. But it's not the first. We've not the first time we've played one of the teams near the top of the table over the past 18 months, and we've gone and got a good result. So it's a tricky game, no question of doubt. As I said, I alluded to earlier, these next two, both away from home, I would take anything at Walsall. We get a point, that'd be fantastic. If we can nick it, then that would be absolutely brilliant. But we again, cutting out the silly mistakes, cutting out the, giving them anything on the cheap. If they're gonna win the game, then they've got to earn it, and hopefully the win on Saturday against Carlisle will give the team some confidence. And we've got to back that up at some point. It's all too often we get a win under Nigel Adkins and we'll go 5 or 6 games until we next get 3 points. It's 1 win, 2 draws, the odd defeat here and there. It tends to be the trend looking back over the last 14, 15 months. So with the exception of the Christmas before last. So yeah, hopefully we can go down there and get something, but it's a really hard game for sure.